July and August today. I've missed a lot, but I certainly wasn't going to turn my nose up at a new Carly Rae Jepsen album, especially one of those sequel LPs she drops after a relative critical success. Here come the flip side to the loneliest time, the loveliest time. Oh. Glassy, sophisticated, legitimately creative flips on this whole sleazy new disco thing. Chord patterns you just don't expect, and forever catchy. Jepsen is exercising the deeper tones of her voice this time around, and while it doesn't always sound as confident as when she belts in a higher register, it's a refreshing atmosphere, and her friendly goodwill is still there, just matured so you don't have to feel too weird about the nigh adolescent schoolyard crush attitudes of Mo Tion, which is still one of the best albums of the 2010s anyways. Points of the loveliest time actually begin reaching into the 90s indie dance scene and start reminding me of Saint Etienne. The best tracks, Shadow and Aeroplane for 2 new flavors, and Kamikaze for the big ravey hook that you've been waiting for. Joanna Sternberg's I've Got Me is not only a great singer-songwriter record whose songs sound like they could legitimately be American folk standards, but I was drawn to it because of the general attitude Sternberg has towards herself and what is clearly some kind of depression or self-esteem issue.
I've got me in the morning, I've got me in the evening.
She'll address explicitly her feelings and that she doesn't feel good, but also on the counterpoint she wants to be kinder to herself. The title track, I've Got Me, one of the best of the year, reminds me a lot of this old Tim Minchin song. You know Tim Minchin, the atheistic Australian piano comedian with mascara and no shoes. One of his non-comedic, sincere songs called Not Perfect, which he actually later tried rewriting for the Matilda musical but pales in comparison, is a song about how badly we often talk about ourselves and our bodies when they never say a bad word about us back. Sometimes we've just got to be a little nicer to ourselves, you know? Other great tracks on here include The Love I Give and Drifting on a Cloud. 2 other albums I've been enjoying, Agar's Player Non-Player. A soundtrack to the video game of the same title. I haven't played it, but I've been thoroughly enjoying the post-midnight synth-pop feel of this one, like leaving an old Windows PC up late at night. And one of this year's acclaimed dance records, Jungle's Volcano. Word on the street is that this pales in comparison to their previous LPs, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, at least the ones that don't sound like they could have been dropped in 2013 by a future funk channel. Back on 74 has honestly the best music video of the year. This dance sequence right here had me deeply moved, and the thing is, this song is probably one of the lower key ones on the record. My actual favourites are You Ain't No Celebrity featuring Roots Maneuver, Dominoes, and the sultry summer air of Palm Trees. We now come to the A-Mix, an extra long playlist of my favourite songs, new songs, that came out during July and August. Although not necessarily, I'm kind of lying. Starting with Namesake by Noname.
Go Rihanna, go. Watch the fighter jet fly high. War Machine gets glamorized. We play the game, do pass the time.
Freedom 2, an unlikely collaboration between Joy Orbison, Kwengface, and Overmono. How did I come this far? I think I'm a bandit, they think I'm a star. When I cut through, man, they be like raw. Deli by Ice Spice, wherein she rightly dabbles in the ever-popular Jersey Club beat, and a fucking frigid one too. But I'm still shaking ass in a deli. The Roach by Genesis Owusu. D&D by Paris, Texas, and Kenny Mason. Lighten up the mood, the incense. I can see the moon in the distance. Now, I love the deeper, grungy tones that kind of expand on these two's last best tracks. But more than that, I love that this is a song about being shoved into a box, about categorization. The confidence on Mason's verse is great, especially when he shrugs that whether you think I am rap or just rock rap, you are still getting out-rapped. Emotion Sickness by Queens of the Stone Age. Think the sexed up sleeves of Like Clockwork combined with the nauseating on purpose cheek of Rated R. Bad Idea Right by Olivia Rodrigo, but the clean version, please. Great song, bratty song, but I think it's just so needless the way that she swears. Almost like she wants to show off that she can swear now. The same thing happened on her other single that came out, Vampire, where The clean version actually tops the uncensored version because she's picking words that actually describe her feelings, describe the situation. What the hell does fame fucker even mean anyways? Tell Me by Ayo, Auckland rapper from the group Bad Crop and is now ruminating about girls, all the girls. He lists out all the girls he has love for, a list that is more sincere, diverse, and a lot less creepier than the Dares one. And he caps the sentence by saying, "But I don't know what you want. I don't know what you need." It's quite beautifully humbling. Jane Remover, formerly known as Delete Zeke, reinvents themselves with a pop-off towards the end on Lips. Gymnopedie by Tapir, with an exclamation mark, which begins with the famous Eric Satie melody and flourishes pretty much immediately into a Dan Behar-esque sway in the still coastal air. Aeroplanes by Carly Rae Jepsen. Punching Down by George Clanton. Fader by Róisín Murphy and DJ Koze. I've Got Me by Joanna Sternberg. Pistols on Your Album Cover by Nas. Fission from Ludwig Göransson's score for Oppenheimer. Two tracks from the score actually really took my breath away. Obviously, Can You Hear the Music, which has these many tempo changes that sort of spark this feeling of dangerous curiosity. But then also Fission is just the subtler piece where string notes just seem to sync. This seems like the best Doomsday-inspired piece of music since, I don't know, Hand Covers Bruise from The Social Network. And closing this off, It Must Change by Anohni and the Johnsons. I was not really a fan of this album, not as much as the rest of the rest of the crowd, but the first two songs, mwah. It must change. It must change. That was a bit of a mouthful, so I'll be a little bit generous and follow up with a B-mix, a bunch of general tracks that I've been jamming. Starting with Wham's Battlestations from 1989. I'm personally so used to hearing the more self-serious reinvention of George Michael when he did his solo career, but with Wham, with Andrew Ridgeley, the bro had a really good sense of humour, especially on Battlestations, which is just a purely catchy song. Second up, I'd say Gorgon Sound by Horsepower Productions, a pretty key track in the UK dubstep/garage movement. Listen to this and wonder if there's anything that really sounds like it today. Yeah. Ding Dong by Nellie McKay from 2004. A lot of the indie kids, like me, rightfully gravitated towards Fiona Apple and Regina Spektor and left Nellie McKay in the dust, which is a shame because I think musically her stuff is just so rich and complex. Ding dong, there's the doorbell. Hello, man in white. He's gonna make you all well, get you through the night. Fourth on the B-mix is All I Care About from the original Broadway cast recording of Chicago. I don't care for wearing silk cravats, ruby studs, satin spats. Number 5, Raindrops by Basement Jaxx. And the only reason that 1901 by Phoenix isn't the best pop song of 2009 is because this one exists. I watched Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time last month. I know, crazy. Absolutely loved it. I think it's the bee's knees, and I love the soundtrack. So Over at the Frankenstein Place is my next nomination. Great song about like an alluring force drawing you towards something, and the implication kind of being that it wasn't the light that guided you towards the Frankenstein place, it was you. Vow by Juliana Barwick, a song that is almost too transcendent to believe in. If Heavenly had like a version of Sickly Sweet, this would be it. Starfish and Coffee from Prince's Sign of the Times, the perfect breakfast song. Ahaha. Spoon with Do You, straight up one of the best songs I've ever heard. The Spoon album from 2014, They Want My Soul, has two of the best songs I've ever heard, Do You and Inside Out. I'll talk about Inside Out some other time, some other very special time. But Do You, on the other hand, has this like magical moment during the chorus where a question is posed. The song just seems to hang in the suspense, almost as if to beg you to really think about it. Topping off the B mix, there were a lot of great musicians and admirable figures that passed away this past few months, but I think the one that really got me was Sinead O'Connor. So I'm going to top this off with Mandinka, my favourite Sinead O'Connor song, but is also a song on an album that hosts my favourite cover artwork, I think. Well, I'm going to go see a pan about a cake. I hope you all keep it sunny in your heart and keep listening to that music, that sweet, sweet music.